In the vast command center of the human flagship Resolute, Admiral Jonas Hale stared grimly at the holographic displays showing the aftermath of the Kraln assault on the human colony of Thera. The images were stark: crumbling buildings, fires burning uncontrollably, and no signs of life. Around him, the bridge crew worked silently, the tension palpable. "Admiral, the final casualty reports are coming in. There are no survivors from Thera. Over 30,000 colonists gone," reported Commander Lydia Mares, her voice tight with controlled anger. Jonas clenched his fists, feeling each loss as a personal blow. Prepare a galaxy-wide broadcast. It's time the Kraln understood the price of their aggression. Beside him, Lieutenant Harlan Beck, the communications officer, nodded solemnly. "Broadcast is ready on your command, sir." As the crew looked on, Jonas stepped up to the transmitter. His face, now broadcasted across human territories and beyond, was a mask of determination. "People of the galaxy," he began, his voice resonant. "Today, the Kraln Empire has committed an atrocity against humanity. They have razed our colony, Thera, sparing no one. This unprovoked attack will not go unanswered. To the Kraln Empire, hear this. Your worlds will burn just as you have burned ours. This is not a threat. It is a promise." Off-screen, Captain Elisa Vorn, the ship's tactical advisor, turned to Jonas. "We need to move quickly, Admiral. The Kralns will be regrouping for another strike soon." Jonas nodded, turning to address his senior staff, who had gathered around. "Elisa, coordinate with Fleet Command. We'll need every available ship. Harlan, keep the communication lines open. We must warn our colonies and request their support." Lydia added, "I'll contact our allies in the non-human alliance. The Kralns have been pressing their borders too. It's time we united our fronts." Jonas looked each of them in the eye, his resolve hardening. "We are facing a powerful enemy, but we are not without our strengths. We will show the Kralns that humanity is not easily broken. Prepare for war and be ready for sacrifices. This will be a fight not just for Thera, but for the future of all humans in the galaxy." As the crew dispersed to carry out their orders, Jonas remained at the command deck, watching the stars streak by. Each one seemed to hold a promise of retaliation, a burning world for a burned colony. The galaxy had changed with the Kraln's attack, and so had humanity's place in it. Now it was time for action, for unity, and for retribution. Admiral Jonas Hale's declaration had ignited a wave of response across human territories, galvanizing forces and stirring the fringe systems where distrust of central authority was common. Now, aboard the Resolute, Hale plotted a course to these distant regions, aiming to unify them under a common cause. In the strategy room, Jonas convened a meeting with his closest advisors and two key figures from the fringe: Tarek, a former pirate-turned-resistance fighter, and Dr. Anara Lee, a renowned scientist known for her work in diplomacy among diverse species. "Tarek, Anara, thank you for joining us. We're not just fighting for survival, but for our future. I need your insights on rallying your systems," Jonas stated, initiating the discussion. Tarek leaned forward, his face marked by years of skirmishes. "Admiral, the fringe worlds will fight, but they value their independence fiercely. They'll need assurances that they're not trading one overlord for another." Anara nodded in agreement, her voice calm and precise. "Additionally, many of these worlds have populations of non-humans who have been living under the threat of Kraln expansion for decades. Their cooperation could be invaluable." Commander Lydia chimed in. "We've prepared dossiers on the key leaders and influencers in these systems. Winning them over could pivot the entire sector to our side." Captain Elisa Vorn, always strategic, added, "We should also consider joint military exercises. Show a united front, build camaraderie. Nothing bonds like a shared enemy." Jonas listened intently, weighing each word. "Very well. Tarek, lead the outreach to the pirate networks and independent fleets. Anara, I'd like you to focus on the diplomatic channels, especially with the non-humans. Lydia, Elisa, prepare our forces for a potential uptick in skirmish activities. We need to be ready." As the meeting adjourned, Jonas pulled Tarek aside. "You've operated around these parts longer than any of us. What's the real sentiment out there?" Tarek's expression was grim but hopeful. "They're scared, Jonas. Scared of being wiped out by the Kralns, scared of being ignored by the core systems. But there's also anger and a strong desire to fight back. Harness that, and you'll have your army." Jonas nodded, clapping Tarek on the shoulder. "Then let's turn that fear into a force to be reckoned with." Over the next several weeks, the Resolute became a hub of activity. Jonas and his team traveled from system to system, meeting with leaders, addressing gatherings, and forging new alliances. They demonstrated military strength and strategic cooperation, engaging in joint defense drills that not only showcased their capabilities, but also strengthened mutual trust. In each system, the message was clear. This was not just a battle for survival, but a chance to strike back against a common oppressor. The fringe worlds, long used to fending for themselves, began to see the value in a united stand. Slowly, a diverse and potent coalition started to form, one that blended human tenacity with the unique strengths of the galaxy's many races. By the time Jonas returned to the command of the Resolute, the Fringe was no longer a collection of isolated systems, but a formidable part of the galaxy's defensive network, ready to face the Kraln threat head-on. The newly formed alliance had rekindled hope across the Fringe systems, transforming the fear and uncertainty into a palpable desire for retribution. Admiral Jonas Hale, recognizing the urgency to maintain momentum, planned the first offensive strike against the Kraln Empire. The target was a critical communications outpost on the edge of Kraln territory, crucial for their network across several systems. In the Resolute's war room, Jonas, along with Tarek and Dr. Anwar Ali, finalized their assault plan. Captain Elisa Vorn and Commander Lydia Mares were also present, each contributing to the tactical discussions. "We strike here." Jonas pointed at the holographic map where the outpost was highlighted. "This facility coordinates Kraln military movements in the sector. Taking it out will disrupt their operations and give us a strategic advantage early in this conflict." Elisa, ever the tactician, suggested, "A direct assault might be expected. If we use a small, fast strike team, we can hit them before they mount a significant defense." Tarek, familiar with unconventional warfare, added, "I have just the crew for this job. Agile, experienced, and hungry for some payback. We can slip in, plant the charges, and slip out before they know what hit them." Anara raised a valid concern. "We must ensure that there's minimal collateral damage. This outpost likely has non-Kraln staff. We should aim to disrupt, not destroy lives unnecessarily." Lydia worked on the logistics, coordinating with fleet commanders and ensuring that all units were synchronized. "Support ships will be ready for a quick extraction. We'll have medical teams on standby." With the plan set, Jonas gave the nod. "Carry out the mission at 0600. Let's remind the Kraln Empire why they fear the dark reaches of space." As dawn broke over the nearest planet, Tarek's team, aboard stealth-modified shuttles, approached the Kraln outpost. The silence of space masked their approach as they deftly navigated through asteroid debris to avoid detection. Inside the outpost, the team moved with precision, neutralizing surveillance and avoiding civilian areas. Tarek, leading the charge, communicated back to the Resolute. "Admiral, we're in position. Charges set. Evac in 2. Back on the flagship, Jonas monitored the operation, his expression intense. The seconds ticked by until Tarek's voice crackled through. "Detonation in 3, 2, 1. A brilliant flare of light burst from the outpost, signaling the successful execution of their plan. Instantly, Kraln communications were thrown into chaos, their military channels filled with confusion and orders to regroup. Jonas allowed himself a brief smile as reports of the operation's success flooded in. "Well done, everyone. This is just the beginning. Prepare for the Empire's response." The victory was more than just tactical. It served as a powerful symbol of the Alliance's capabilities and resolve. Across human territories and beyond, news of the strike spread, bolstering support and fueling the fires of resistance against the Kraln Empire. As the Resolute and its fleet regrouped, Jonas knew that this first strike was merely the opening move in what would be a prolonged and arduous campaign. Yet with each small victory, the unity and determination of the Alliance grew, ready to challenge the tyranny of the Kraln Empire wherever it cast its shadow. With their first victory resonating across the galaxy, morale within the Alliance was high. However, Admiral Jonas Hale knew that intelligence would be crucial to sustain their momentum against the Kraln Empire. He initiated a covert operations wing, spearheaded by Anna, a former intelligence operative known for her adeptness in cyber espionage. In the dimly lit quarters of the Resolute, Anna set up her command station, surrounded by arrays of data screens and communication devices. Jonas and Commander Lydia Mares joined her to discuss the next phase of their strategy. "Anna, we need eyes inside the Kraln command structure. Any insight into their next move could save lives and guide our campaign," Jonas explained, watching as Anna navigated through layers of encryption with deft ease. Already on it, Admiral, Anna replied, her focus unyielding. I've tapped into a minor communication relay that's part of their secure network. With a bit more time, I think I can access their central command logs. Lydia leaned over the data screens, her tactical mind assessing the potential information. If we can predict their patrol routes or identify any planned offensives, we could set effective ambushes or avoid heavy confrontations. As Anna worked, a sudden flurry of encrypted messages caught her attention. Here we go, she murmured, decrypting the data streams. Her eyes narrowed as she processed the information. Looks like the Krallans are planning a major strike against the Dreyan Nebula. A lot of our supply ships pass through there. Jonas absorbed the news, his mind racing through potential responses. We can't afford to lose that route. Let's set up a defensive perimeter there. Lydia, coordinate with Elisa and Tarek. I want our best ships on guard. Understood, Admiral, Lydia responded, moving to execute the orders. Meanwhile, Anna continued to mine the Krall networks, uncovering more than just military movements. Admiral, there's more here. I found evidence of internal dissent within the Krall ranks. Some sectors are not happy with the war. This could be an opportunity to sow further discord, weaken their resolve. Jonas considered this new angle. Good work, Anna. Let's use every piece of information to our advantage. Start crafting messages that could exacerbate their internal conflicts. We need to fight this war on all fronts. Over the next few weeks, the intelligence gathered by Anna proved invaluable. The Dreyan Nebula was successfully defended, with the Krallans walking into a well-prepared trap that significantly hampered their operational capabilities. Simultaneously, the seeds of dissent Anna had planted began to take root, causing noticeable delays and confusion within the Krall military hierarchy. Back on the Resolute, Jonas met with his senior staff, pleased with the outcomes, but aware of the war's long road ahead. This is excellent progress, but we must remain vigilant and proactive. Anna, keep digging, and everyone else, stay alert. We're making waves, but the Krall Empire won't crumble from a few skirmishes. As the meeting adjourned, Jonas stayed behind, looking out into the star-strewn void. Each star, a world, a battleground, a life. The weight of command was heavy, but with each successful mission, his resolve hardened, driven by the unity and intelligence of his team. The war was far from over, but for now, they were ahead, and in war, knowledge was as powerful as any weapon. Following the strategic victories enabled by their newfound intelligence capabilities, Admiral Jonas Hale set his sights on Nevrax, a crucial logistical hub for the Krall Empire. Capturing Nevrax would disrupt the enemy's supply lines and provide a significant morale boost to the Alliance. As they approached the target, the mood among the crew of the Resolute was tense but determined. In the strategy room, Jonas convened with his top advisors to discuss the final assault plans. Captain Elisa Vorn, tactical expert and seasoned fighter, laid out the attack strategy. Nevrax is heavily fortified, protected by a dense asteroid field and a fleet of Krall warships. We'll need a coordinated approach to break through the perimeter and secure the hub. Tarek, experienced in guerrilla warfare, suggested using small, nimble fighters to navigate the asteroid field and engage Krall forces in distracting skirmishes. It'll give us the opening we need for a larger assault on the station, he proposed. Anna, monitoring enemy communications, interjected. I've intercepted increased chatter among the Krall forces. They're expecting us, but they're not sure where we'll strike. We can use this confusion to our advantage. Commander Lydia Mares, overseeing logistics, ensured that all units were well equipped and briefed on multiple scenarios. All squads are prepped and ready for deployment. Medical and rescue teams are on standby. As the fleet maneuvered into position, Jonas addressed the troops over the comm system. This is more than a battle for a supply hub. This is a fight for our future. Today, we weaken the Krall Empire significantly and move one step closer to victory. Stay sharp, follow your training, and look out for each other. The battle commenced with Tarek's squadrons zipping through the asteroid field, drawing Krall fire. Meanwhile, the main fleet, led by Elisa, pushed forward, engaging the Krall warships in a fierce battle. Explosions lit up the dark space as both sides exchanged heavy fire. On the Resolute, Anna and her team worked feverishly to intercept and relay Krall command signals, giving Elisa and her pilots crucial intel on enemy movements. Krall reinforcements are incoming from the west quadrant, Anna reported, allowing Elisa to reposition the fleet for a tactical advantage. The siege intensified as Jonas ordered the final push towards Nevrax. Ground troops, including elite Marines, launched from the main ships, entering the station in a daring breach and clear operation. They fought through the corridors of Nevrax, facing stiff resistance but gradually securing key sections of the hub. After hours of intense combat, the station's command center was finally breached. Jonas received the call he had been waiting for. "Admiral, Nevrax is under control," confirmed Elisa, her voice echoing the fatigue and relief felt by her crew. Jonas acknowledged the victory, aware of the cost. "Well done, everyone. Secure the station and begin repairs. We hold Nevrax now, a critical blow to the Kraln Empire. This victory is ours, but remember, it's one step in the journey. Heal, rest, and prepare. The war goes on." As they assessed the damage and tended to the wounded, the Alliance celebrated their hard-fought victory. Nevrax, now a symbol of their resilience and tactical acumen, bolstered their resolve to continue the fight, knowing that each victory brought them closer to the ultimate goal, the downfall of the Kraln Empire. Following their victory at Nevrax, Admiral Jonas Hale and his allies now controlled critical supply lines, giving them the leverage needed to plan an audacious final strike on the Kraln homeworld. Such a move could potentially end the war and break the Empire's backbone. In the Strategic Command Center aboard the Resolute, Jonas convened a critical meeting with his top advisors. Captain Elisa Vorn, Commander Lydia Mares, Tarek, and Anna gathered around the holographic display of the Kraln system, analyzing defense patterns and discussing potential attack plans. Their homeworld, Kral Prime, is the most heavily fortified in the Empire, Elisa began, her eyes scanning the complex web of satellites and defense stations orbiting the planet. "But with Nevrax under our control, we've got a straight shot to their core. It's now or never." Tarek, always tactical, suggested a two-pronged approach. "We use a diversionary attack on their outer stations. While they're distracted, a strike team can penetrate the main defenses and deliver a crippling blow to their command center." Anna, who had been intercepting Kraln communications, added, "I've managed to insert a virus into their security network. It won't hold long, but it should give us a window to bypass some of their defenses without detection." Lydia, responsible for logistics, noted the resource allocations. "All squadrons are at full strength, and our reserves are ready. We've also got a few tricks up our sleeve with some newly developed tech that could help neutralize their energy shields." Jonas listened intently, formulating the plan in his mind. "Elisa, you'll lead the diversionary fleet. Tarek, your team will spearhead the main assault. Anna, keep their systems compromised as long as you can. Lydia, coordinate the support units. We have one shot at this. Let's make it count." The day of the assault arrived with a tense calm. As fleets mobilized and ships launched, Jonas addressed his forces one last time. "Today, we finish what we started. For all who have suffered under the Kraln rule, for our fallen at Thera, for freedom across the galaxy, let's bring this empire down." The space around Kral Prime erupted into chaos as Elisa's fleet engaged the outer defenses, drawing Kraln forces away from the planet. Meanwhile, Tarek's elite squad, cloaked and silent, moved toward the planet, slipping through the weakened defense perimeter. As they approached the command center, Anna's virus kicked in, temporarily disabling the Kraln surveillance network. Tarek's team landed undetected and infiltrated the heart of the Empire. Inside, they encountered fierce resistance, but advanced steadily towards their objective. Back in orbit, a massive battle raged. Jonas, aboard the Resolute, coordinated the attack, directing ships and resources where they were most needed. Elisa's fleet performed brilliantly, maintaining the illusion of a full-scale assault, while Lydia ensured that reinforcements were ready to support Tarek's ground forces. The decisive moment came as Tarek's team placed explosive charges around the Kraln command center. With a series of thunderous blasts, the center crumbled, effectively beheading the Kraln military command. In the aftermath, Jonas received the transmission from Tarek. "Mission accomplished, Admiral. The head of the snake has been cut." Jonas allowed himself a moment of relief. "Well done, everyone. Prepare for occupation and peacekeeping. The real work begins now." With the fall of Kral Prime, the war effectively ended. The Kraln Empire capitulated soon after, leading to negotiations for a lasting peace. Jonas, now hailed as a hero, began the delicate process of rebuilding and ensuring that the galaxy would never again suffer under such tyranny. The fall of the Kraln Command Center marked a turning point in the war, but the battle for Kral Prime was far from over. As the dust settled over the ruined command structures, Admiral Jonas Hale knew that securing the planet was crucial to ensure a lasting peace. The Kralns, though leaderless, still had substantial military forces capable of mounting a fierce resistance. In the command deck of the Resolute, Jonas convened an emergency session with his senior officers. Captain Elisa Vorn, Commander Lydia Mares, Tarek, and Anna reviewed the status of their forces and the challenges ahead. Without their command, Kraln forces are disorganized, but they're not defeated, Elisa reported, analyzing real-time data from the surface. We need to establish control over the major population centers to prevent any further resistance. Tarek, who had returned from the successful strike mission, added, The urban areas are heavily fortified. We'll face guerrilla tactics, hit and run, sabotage. We need to be on high alert. Jonas nodded, formulating the plan. We'll initiate Operation Peacekeeper. Elisa, your ships will enforce a no-fly zone to cut off any potential retreat or reinforcements. Tarek, lead the ground operations to secure key districts. Anna, I need you to intercept any attempts they make to regroup or communicate. Anna, already deep in surveillance data, responded, I've got partial access to their local networks. I'll start a misinformation campaign to create confusion and slow down their coordination efforts. Lydia interjected with logistical considerations. I've arranged for additional medical units and translators to assist with civilian interactions. Winning the hearts and minds will be as crucial as any military victory. As the operation unfolded, Jonas's forces methodically took control of Kral Prime. Tarek's ground troops navigated the labyrinthine cityscapes, engaging Kraln forces in intense urban combat. Meanwhile, Elisa's fleet patrolled the skies, thwarting any attempts at organizing a counterattack. During one critical push, Tarek's unit found themselves under heavy fire in the Market District, a known insurgent stronghold. Using drones and tactical shields, they managed to outmaneuver the Kralns, capturing key insurgents and securing the area. On the Resolute, Jonas monitored the progress, his concern palpable. Each report of casualties weighed heavily on him, but the steady stream of areas declared secure offered some solace. Anna's efforts at disruption were effective, causing visible disarray among the remaining Kraln military. After days of continuous operations, the resistance finally began to crumble. Key Kraln leaders, realizing the futility of further conflict, began to surrender, asking for terms of peace. Jonas, relieved yet somber, addressed his team. We've achieved what we set out to do, but this victory is not without its cost. Our next phase is crucial: reconstruction and reconciliation. We must ensure Kral Prime becomes a beacon of unity, not a symbol of conquest. The team nodded in agreement, understanding the magnitude of the task ahead. As peace negotiations began, Jonas focused on building a stable governance structure that included Kraln representatives, aiming to heal the wounds of war and lay a foundation for a lasting peace. In the aftermath of the successful takeover of Kral Prime, Admiral Jonas Hale faced the monumental task of transitioning from war to peace. The planet, though now under control, was a patchwork of devastated infrastructure and divided communities. Jonas, with his council of advisors including Captain Elisa Vorn, Commander Lydia Mares, Tarek, and Anna, set about constructing a new governmental framework that would include both human and Kraln leaders. Inside the newly established planetary council chamber, Jonas addressed a mixed assembly of human and Kraln representatives. Our goal here isn't merely to govern, but to build a society that honors the dignity and freedom of every individual, Jonas stated, his voice echoing through the hall. We fought against tyranny. Let us not become tyrants ourselves. As part of the peace process, Jonas initiated several key programs. 1. Reconstruction projects. Teams comprised of both human and Kraln workers began rebuilding critical infrastructure, hospitals, schools, and communication networks to restore normalcy and public services. 2. Cultural exchange initiatives. Designed to foster understanding and reduce prejudices, these programs included language courses, shared community events, and public forums where citizens could voice their concerns and hopes for the future. 3. War Crimes Tribunal. To address the atrocities committed during the war, an impartial tribunal was established, offering justice to victims and penalties to perpetrators, ensuring accountability was upheld. Elisa oversaw the security operations, ensuring that the peace was maintained without oppressive tactics. We're here to protect, not to police, she often reminded her officers. She worked closely with Kraln security forces, building rapport and integrating units to create a cohesive defense network. Tarek, leveraging his experience in guerrilla warfare, contributed by advising on the best ways to dismantle remaining insurgent groups peacefully, focusing on negotiation and integration rather than force. We win more allies with open hands than with closed fists, he noted during strategy sessions. Anna managed the information strategy, ensuring transparent communication flowed between the government and the populace. Her team worked tirelessly to counter misinformation campaigns and promote open dialogue, bridging gaps between diverse communities. Lydia coordinated humanitarian efforts, ensuring that aid reached those in need, prioritizing war-affected zones, and setting up support systems for war orphans and widows. Her logistical expertise was vital in organizing these extensive operations efficiently. As months turned into a year, the signs of progress were palpable. Cities began to buzz with life again, markets reopened, children returned to school, and a new sense of hope permeated the atmosphere. At the first anniversary of the new government, Jonas stood before a large gathering in the capital's main square, now renamed Unity Plaza. Today, we celebrate not the end of a war, but the beginning of understanding, Jonas declared to the cheers of a diverse crowd. We have laid down our arms to take up tools of rebuilding, pens of education, and words of peace. Let us continue on this path. As the ceremony concluded, fireworks lit up the sky, reflecting the vibrant faces below, human and Kraln alike, united in celebration. Jonas, watching alongside his team, felt a profound sense of accomplishment and responsibility. The challenges ahead were daunting, but the foundation laid was solid, promising a future where peace was not just a possibility, but a reality. With Kral Prime as a model, Jonas envisioned extending this peace across the galaxy, hopeful that the lessons learned could inspire other worlds to choose reconciliation over conflict. The new order was more than a change of governance. It was a beacon for a united and harmonious galactic community.